What inspired me to start LOVERA Home Loans is simple. You, the borrower, the customer, the realtor, the loan officer, you inspired me to start LOVERA Home Loans because getting families to find their way home, I could honestly not imagine anything greater in life than that vision and that goal. I honestly believe that we all have a purpose, and for me, is to fulfill you from finding your way home. So if I had to say a story that impacted me profoundly, I would say many stories throughout the career, but most recently, I had a borrower that was living in a mobile home park, and she was paying rent to her ex. The ex was going to increase the rent on her and his child from $1,200 to $1,800 a month. And she called in crying. She saw a Facebook ad that we had, and she called in crying saying that she needed to figure out a way to do it. But she had no money. She had about $2,000 in her bank account. And it was a really tough deal. It was a single family manufactured house that we qualified her for. She ended up going out and we did down payment assistance for it. The down payment assistance program that we had for the state of Florida does not do single family manufactured home. And last minute, we had to figure out what to do. We ended up finding another lender that had a DPA program that did allow for a single wide manufactured house. And we were able to get her and her child into a home. And it's stories like that that really ignite the fuel to keep this thing going. I love when we sell homes to anyone and everyone across the board. Let it be foreign national, let it be national, let it be investment, purchase, doesn't matter. But when you're able to really help a family, a single mother, and I think for me, my mother was a single mother for a long time, helping somebody like that is really where I get most impacted and feel really that I'm here to do God's work. So the core values that guide me most, and this is in our business. Love works, innovation works, integrity works. Love works, passion, empathy, and great communication is a part of everything we do. You gotta give a damn. And that for me is what sprinkle a little love on it, right? Really be passionate, be empathetic to the other side, and communicate the way others need to be communicated to. Not the way you want to be communicated, but the way others need to be communicated. Innovation works. Have the courage to find a better way. It takes courage to see something and not be in a place of authority and speak up anyways. That takes courage. And the best people to speak up and the best people that know how to change things are usually the people without authority. The people that are on the ground, in the struggle, in the work, in the hustle. Those are the people that we need to be listening to. But if you don't have the courage to speak, there's nothing that we can do. We don't know what we don't know. And last is integrity works. Do the right thing the first time. Don't do the right thing when you get caught. Don't do the right thing after you try to scheming and calculating. Don't do the right thing because, maybe you should. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, and do it the first time. So this is a magical question. And this is the question for all entrepreneurs out there. How do you balance time? I hate the phrase balance time. You're not going to do it. Shocker, stop it. You're not going to balance your time, okay? What you are going to do is be 100% when you're there. When you are at work, be at work. When you are home, be home. Something that I did a while back was I stopped bringing my laptop to the house. I set up an office in my office, and then when I first started, I had two systems. I had a system in my house and a system in my office. And I realized that that didn't really help a lot. So I left my entire system at the office. When I'm at work, I am at work. My wife knows to call me if there's an issue, if there's a problem, if something needs to be that. But other than that, she respects the time that I'm at work. But then when I get home, it's my job to respect the time that I have at home. and spend it with the kids, spend it with my wife and spouse. So just be 100% there 100% of the time, not in all places, but at the moment that's right in front of you. The most challenging moment in my career, I would have to say, I've had two. The Great Recession of 2008, where things were really tough, and COVID, after COVID, the coming back of COVID, and a somewhat recession, not recession, the great inflation period, let's call it that. These have been the two toughest times. It's hard. Inflation right now, a lot of people don't understand how inflation works. And inflation is measured over the last 12 months, okay? So I'm gonna give this to you in a way that you might be able to understand. If the cost of something is $100, and 12 months from now, the cost of that same thing is $112, inflation has gone up 12%. Now, 12 months from now, the starting point isn't $100. The starting point is $112. So if now the inflation starts at 112 and that same thing cost 113, then the increase from 112 to 113 is 2%. Well, guess what? If you expand that out and the starting price is 100 and it's now 113, inflation is 13%, not 2%, not 1%, not half of a percent. So inflation today is 3% from an all-time high of 12%. That means that if you just look over the last 2 years, inflation is sitting at 12, 13, 14%. Over the last 3 years, inflation is sitting at almost 20%. Inflation is a nation killer. The most countries in the world start off with many different factions, many different things that cause it. But the thing that ultimately ends up killing them is inflation. And if we don't get inflation under control, that is the biggest problem. Inflation is driving interest rates today. Interest rates we're hitting 8%, where there's been a little bit of a drop from that. Interest rates have come down in the low, mid 6%, depending on FICO score, LTVs, and things like that. But inflation is the biggest problem. That is really crushing the middle class and the average American family. And that's the biggest struggle, is finding a way to help families find their way home when they're really strapped for their down payment, their closing cost, and being able to afford the monthly mortgage payment because they can't afford rent either. And that's really where the biggest problem's at. If I can give some advice, and this is advice to any professional, and if you're getting a license, you're a professional. I don't care if you're a nail technician, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you're in mortgages, if you're in real estate. If you are starting off, take off the ego hat, go learn the trade. Don't worry about how much you get paid. Don't worry about if you're getting the maximum of your commissions. Don't worry about any of that. Learn the trade. Get in with somebody that can teach you the business and learn the business. Then slowly but surely start taking bigger and bigger risks and earning bigger and bigger rewards. The way we make sure that our team members are providing a 5-level star of service to our referral partners and customers is making sure that I hold them accountable to our value system. Everything else is going to come from that. If everyone is adhering to Love Works, having passion, empathy, and great communication, they have the courage to find a better way, and they do the right thing the first time, everything else will fall in line, because they'll start making the right choices and decisions from those core values. The biggest misconception people have of the real estate market and the mortgage industry is $1 million listing. Okay. Yes, it is true. There are real estate companies and real estate agents and that are doing $1 million deals, and that is true. But this is the top 1%, guys. The average sale price in Orange County, Florida, is in the mid 400s. Okay. And a big chunk of that is between $300,000 and $450,000. And if the higher you go up above the average sale price, the more you start turning into a buyer's market. So the biggest misconception is I joined, and it's this phrase right here. I joined real estate so that I can have more time for myself and make more money. Those two will never come together. In no industry, it doesn't exist if it's legal. It does not exist. The more money you make, the more time you're invested in. Now, what will change is what you are passionate about. If you are passionate about what you are doing and you're spending 12 hours doing it, it feels like 4 hours. I come into this office at 8:30 in the morning. I don't leave till 8:30 at night. And to me, it feels like I just had a 3-hour day because I love what I do. But my wife thinks I'm crazy because she could not imagine doing this job for that many hours. So do what you are passionate about. And once you find that passion, you find the ability to do what you love. And that's the biggest misconception. You're not going to have more time, make more money, and wake up at 11 in the morning and go show a house and make 50 grand a month. That's not going to happen. So the way I stay updated is making sure I'm surrounding myself with great company. That is great associations, the Mortgage Bankers Association, the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Making sure that I constantly make time to educate myself, looking at mortgage-backed securities, understanding certain press releases that go out from our agencies, let it be Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, or HUD. Articles that are coming out from many of the different outlets that do just constantly reading and making sure that I'm being purposeful on the education that I'm getting up to date. Outside of work, for a long time, I've been in this business going on 15 years, and for a long time I used to say my hobby was work. That is a problem that as I get older I realize, and today my new hobbies is becoming a pilot. Is something that I am really looking forward to and trying to obtain. I'm going back to school to get my law degree. That is a hobby for me. And lastly, I'm picking up golf. So those are my 3 hobbies.